What's going on, Wiz Nation and Mystics Nation? Welcome to another episode of DC Hoopla, and I'm your guy, K Jose. I know it's been a little while. I know that these episodes are kind of starting to spread out, but it's all right. I'm back here with your content. So, got a few things I wanted to discuss. But before I even get started, definitely want to say follow me on IG, Twitter, and also subscribe to my YouTube page under DC Hoopla. Also, like, share, and subscribe to State of the Wizards. Follow us on IG and Twitter. And follow my main man, Decan, aka Wiz Takes at Wizards Mafia on IG, Twitter, and also look for him on Spotify for Wiz Takes. So, quite a few things I wanted to discuss. Definitely want to, I'm going to share my screen. And I want to also talk about the Mystics very quickly. I want to give the ladies a special shout out. They are now 2-0. They won their last game against the Minnesota Lynx, beat them 78-66. They're playing tonight against the Las Vegas Aces at home. So be on the lookout for that game. But got to give a special shout out for Natasha Cloud for putting up 19 and 6. Ariel Atkins with 20 and 5 and 4. The rookie, Shakira Austin with a double-double, 13 and 10. Of course, we didn't have Elena Deladon playing that game. She sat out due to back injury, but she's expected to play. The Mystics are currently 2-0, so they're leading the East right now as we speak in the standings. And they're looking like they're going to try to compete for a championship again. So definitely proud of the ladies. Good luck to the ladies this upcoming season. Definitely going to try to keep my eyes on the game tonight. I believe it's coming on NBC Sports, on Comcast Sportsnet. So let me talk about the Wiz real quick. So there is a rumor flying around. And as you can see on my screen, it's about Tomas eyeing to return to Spain. Now, this report, as you can see, is dated as of the 30th of April. I just found out about this report, I want to say yesterday. So I didn't even know anything about this. I don't know if a lot of Wizards fans knew about this report. But with Tomas eyeing a possible return to Spain, what does that say about the backup point guard position? We already know the starting point guard position is a concern, and it's definitely an interest. But now we also have to look for a potential backup. All stars are lining that Howell Neto will probably not be returning. It's a possibility. It's 50-50 when you talk about Ish Smith. If he does return, he's going to basically return because of locker room presence, because he's a positive face in the locker room and for the chemistry. But you're going to need somebody to back up said starting point guard. Now, I know everybody saw the picture that went viral, especially locally, where you saw Kyle Kuzma and John Wall together. So some people are feeling that John Wall is on his way back to DC. If you remember, for those of you, if you remember, when Tomas Satoransky was drafted, and I believe he was in the same draft with Bradley Beal in 2012, for a few seasons, Tomas Satoransky didn't come over. And I remember when we started negotiating with Tomas Satoransky at the time, the only way he was going to come over is if he knew he was going to be starting. So he felt like he should be a starter. Well, at that time, John Wall was healthy. He did come over, but he did get his opportunity to become a starter when John Wall was injured. But now that we're looking at different people to potentially be a starting point guard, Tomas Satoransky is possibly looking at going back to Barcelona where he can start. And plus two, let's keep it honest, the man is also going to look to get paid. A lot of players get paid more overseas than they do in the United States. What kind of contract would a Tomas Satoransky been able to get? Well, he already knows if the idea, which everybody knows I don't agree with, but if the idea is to re-sign Bradley Beal to the super duper max, where is the money going to come from for a guy like Tomas Satoransky? You're talking about giving him the veterans minimum, and he probably feels he's worth more than that. So let's just say for right now, it looks like Tomas Satoransky is going to go back to Spain. And it's 50-50 that John Wall will be returning. But let's pretend that John Wall is not the option to be the starting point guard. Who's available out there? Well, I've seen people throw Malcolm Brogdon. I've seen people throw out Tyus Jones. I've seen people throw out DeMonte Murray. I've seen all different types of names. I've seen Jalen Bronson's name. Here's what I will say. According to Bobby Marks, and you can take it from where you want to take it, but I would actually agree with what he's saying. Jalen Bronson, Tyus Jones, those guys are going to be out of our price range. We don't really have cap money to sign these guys. And these guys are not going to be looking at the biannual minimum or the mid-level tier minimum either. With Jalen Bronson is going to be looking to get paid probably about $20 million, and we can't afford that. Tyus Jones is going to be looking to getting paid. So these are things that we have to think about when some people are all in line of, well, let's just go ahead and sign one guy to 35% of the salary cap. Well, you have to ask yourself, if the idea is also to retain Kuzma, how much money do you think he's going to command? Porzingis, how much money is he going to command? Because both of those two guys have player options, and I believe that both of those two guys will opt out of their contract after next season, seeking to get paid. Because let's keep it honest, these guys are looking to get paid one last time because going into their 30s, because both of those two guys will be turning 28, because currently they're 26 and they'll be 27 by the start of the season. So they'll be going on the age of 28. So they're going to be looking at a contract that's going to take them into their 30s where they're going to be pretty well off. So we have to factor that in as well. The draft lottery is next week. It's next Tuesday. I'm actually anticipating on the draft lottery because I want to see what happens. I think we have a 3% chance to land in the top 4, so it's very, very slim. It looks like we're going to be picking around 9 and 10, and I know a lot of fans are not happy when we pick around 9 and 10. So some people feel that we may trade out of the draft. I don't know if we're going to trade out of the draft because, as history has proven, with us trading John Wall, we don't really have we really can't trade our first round pick due to the language that's included in the John Wall trade. As far as that draft pick, we got so many protections on it. But however, we could draft somebody and then end up trading that draft rights to another team for a veteran. But what veteran? Would it be a Malcolm Brogdon? Are we going to help out the Indiana Pacers? What we have to look at, what does the Eastern Conference, what is it going to look like? There's rumblings that, Utah might break it up when it comes down to Donovan Mitchell and when it comes down to Rudy Gobert. These two guys could possibly end up in the East. So we have to factor in, what are other teams going to do to get better? What if Zion Williamson is able to force his way out of New Orleans? Of course, all stars are lining as he's going to sign his super duper max that he's getting ready to get from New Orleans, which I believe is going to be close to about the same amount of money that Bradley Beal is going to get. I think it's less than that. But these are things that we need to look at. So Last thing, Ted Leonsis was at the Mystics game, and he said a few things that were interesting. One of the things he said was he feels that this team can compete next season, which I thought was kind of interesting because it's like based off of what? And the vibe that I'm getting from Ted Leonsis is that he's giving Tommy Shepard the keys and he's trusting in Tommy Shepard to develop the team the way Tommy Shepard sees. See, the thing about Ted Leonsis, if you look at his teams, he's not really concerned when it comes down to the Caps because he already has his person in place to run the Capitals. And he's not concerned when it comes down to the Mystics because he already has the coach slash GM to run the Mystics. So he doesn't have to worry about them either. Well, now it seems like he's getting that way when it comes down to the Wizards, where he's completely disconnected to the point he doesn't really know what's going on. And he's just trusting in who he put in charge. Now, the concern that I have with that is we know that Tommy Shepard is willing to max out Bradley Beal at the highest. Let me go ahead and kill this narrative. The $182 million contract offer that was presented to Bradley Beal before the start of this season, that deal is off the table in Bradley Beal's eyes, meaning Bradley Beal has already rejected and he's not looking at it. So for the fans who think that Bradley Beal is going to revisit that deal, you need to think again. He's not. He already shot that one down. He wants his fifth year. That deal didn't have 5 years in it. He wants the super duper max. So he's not going to entertain that $182 million contract. I know people would like for him to, but he's not going to entertain that. He already told you in this podcast he wants that fifth year and he needs to be a little selfish. And Tommy is not going to put no language in it to where Bradley Beal has to earn that amount. He's just going to give it to him anyway. This is something that you guys need to look at when it came down to Gilbert Arenas. When Gilbert Arenas got his contract, Abe Poland was willing to give him $127 million. Gilbert took $111 million. He said, I'm going to give this money back because I want you to re-sign Antoine Jameson. Basically, we're dealing with the same thing when it comes down to Bill's contract. I don't think Bill is going to be giving any money back. That's what I feel some of you people want. But I don't believe he's going to do that. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that, but I'm going to go back to the lottery. The lottery is next week. We're going to find out where we sit, where we're going to end up drafting, and then we'll be speculating on what this team is going to do. Nobody knows exactly what this team is going to do. You know, I've seen so many people in Wizardsverse putting out all these different names of players that they want this franchise to draft, and most of you guys know good well this franchise is not going to draft those players. And if they do draft said player, I hope you guys are not going to flip on these guys when they don't turn out to be the type of player that you want them to. I've seen some of you guys do that already when you want to talk about Spencer Dinwiddie, who some of you guys was on Wizardsverse last week on Twitter, trolling Spencer Dinwiddie in the playoffs. Let me also say this when it comes down to that. The Mavericks are in the playoffs. They're in the second round of the playoffs. Yes, we know that Spencer, like, first of all, I never thought that Spencer Dinwiddie was going to come here and play out of his mind. Most of you people who are trashing him are the ones who felt that he was going to come here and play out of his mind. And you guys are disappointed. Instead of taking that L, it makes you feel good to sit there and trash Spencer Dinwiddie every chance you get. But when Spencer Dinwiddie has a solid game, you guys are nowhere to be found. But you pop up like a muskrat out of a hole when he plays bad. So when it comes down to whoever the hell we draft, and if it's somebody that you advocated for and they don't play well, it's going to be very interesting to see if you guys going to do a 180 and trash that draft pick instead of saying, you know what, I thought that this player was going to do this, that, and the third. I was wrong. I just need to take that L. But I see in Wizardsverse, a lot of you guys are not willing to take that L. So to make yourselves feel better, you rather just trash said player. So, all in all, I think it's just ridiculous. Some of you guys, I see y'all when y'all do it. A lot of y'all, I don't even entertain it. I just look at y'all as being clowns, man. Let's just keep it a buck. So, anyway, that will conclude today's episode of DC Hoopla. I know it's been short. Hopefully, eventually, we will come out with an episode of State of the Wizards. So that way, myself and D-Can can really dissect this team as well as what players that we feel should be here. But we already know when it comes down to this franchise, they do the exact opposite of what we asked for. So you guys have a good one. Continue watching those playoff games and let's go Mystics.